Hello, my dear children. I hope you all are fit and fine. And today, the topic that I have chosen for you all is the shepherd's treasure. Hello, my dear children. We will start with today's story, and it is shepherd's treasure. Okay. So, what's there in this story? What is the lesson that we learn? We will discuss at the end of the story. At first, let's understand what is this story all about. In a village in Iran, there once lived a shepherd. He was very poor. He did not have even a small cottage of his own. He had never been to school or learned to read or write, for there were very few schools in those days. So, here what do we get to understand is that the setting of the story is in a village of Iran, and there lived the protagonist. Protagonist means the main character of the story, and he was illiterate. It is because there were only few schools, and being poor, he could not go to school. Okay, he had to earn money for his survival, and he could not pay fees of that school. So he was poor and uneducated. Okay. Though poor and uneducated, this shepherd was very wise. He was very intelligent. He understood people's sorrows and troubles and helped them face their problems with courage and common sense. See, children, it's not only literate people who are good and intelligent. There are other people also who are wise by the experiences of their life, and so was the hero of this story. Okay, and another thing is that we should be human being at first. Rest of the things are secondary. Okay, whether we are rich or not, whether we have home or not, those are secondary thing. At first, whether we have humanity or not, that matters a lot. Okay, many people came to him for advice. Soon he became famous for his wisdom and friendly nature. So, because of his intelligence, people used to come to him for suggestion, and in that way he became very famous. The king of that country heard about him and thought of meeting him. Even king became interested in him because of his name and fame, so he wanted to meet him. Disguised as a shepherd and riding on a mule means horse, okay. One day the king came to the cave where the wise shepherd lived. Now, being interested by the intelligence of this man, okay, the king came to his place. As soon as the shepherd saw the traveler coming towards the cave, he rose to welcome him. He took the tired traveler inside the cave, gave him water to drink and a share of his own meager meal. Now, here, children, what do we learn? He gives good hospitality to his guest. Okay, he welcomed him. Okay, whatever he had, he gave it, he offered it to him. He had very less food. Meager means very less. Okay, very insignificant amount, but still he provided it to the shepherd as well. The king rested for the night in the cave and was greatly impressed by the shepherd's hospitality and wise conversation. So there, king who had gone to meet this man, he became very happy. He was very impressed by the shepherd's hospitality and wise conversation. Okay, he talked about the topics which was really relatable to everyone. So the king became very happy. Though still tired, the king decided to depart the next morning. He said, "Many thanks for your kindness to a poor traveler. I have a long way to go. Permit me to leave." So here, the king took permission from the shepherd. He took the permission from the man, okay, who provided him hospitality. Okay. So the shepherd, what did he do? He said, looking straight into the eyes of his guest, the shepherd replied, "Thank you, your majesty, for paying me the compliment of a visit. So here, Shepherd understood that it was none other than the king by his gestures, by his confidence. Okay, so he finally said that, Your Majesty, I am very grateful that you have paid a visit to my place. The king was astonished as well as pleased. He is indeed very wise, he thought to himself. I need people like him to work for me. And the king appointed this humble shepherd the governor of a small district. Now what happened? King became extremely happy by the intelligence of this man, of this shepherd. Therefore, he appointed him as new governor of one of the smallest district. Although he rose to power and dignity, the shepherd remained as humble as ever. People loved and honored him for his wisdom, sympathy, and goodness. He was kind and just to one and all. Just means the one who does justice, okay? So he was, with his intelligence, he tried to solve the issues of the people. He was sympathetic, he understood others' pain, all right, and he did for common people whatever he could. Therefore, he became famous in that small district as well. Okay, his name as a fair and wise governor soon spread throughout the country. Now he became famous by this title, fair and wise governor. Okay, now the governors of other provinces grew terribly jealous of him and began to talk to the king against him. Now what happened? Other governors became jealous. Okay, they had problem with this genuine sympathetic shepherd general, all right, and they started talking, they started doing the backbiting of this governor. What happened after that? Let's see. They said he is very dishonest and keeps for himself part of the money that he collects as tax from the people. Why did he always carry with him, they added, an iron chest? Perhaps he carries in it the treasure that he had secretly collected. After all, they said mockingly, he was an ordinary shepherd and could behave no better. Now here what happened? They wanted to defame this governor, okay, defame this shepherd governor. Therefore, they tried all their means, okay, and they said that why he is carrying this iron chest, okay, iron box with him, all right. So all the people started making mockery, they started criticizing this man. At first, the king did not pay attention to these reports. But how long could he ignore these governors and their endless stories about the shepherd? One thing was certain. The king discovered the new governor did carry an iron chest with him all the time. So here the king, after all, he is also a human being, okay? So when all the rest of the governors started reporting one after the other thing against new governor, even he had to pay little bit of attention to him, okay. And there he noticed that he was carrying a chest, iron chest. So he had doubt that for what purpose he was carrying that. So one day the new governor was summoned to the palace. He came riding on his camel, and to everyone's delight, the famous iron chest was there, fastened securely behind him on the camel's back. So as we know that different places has different transportation agents, okay. So here it's camel because that is very dry land, and it's camel who can survive in those desertic lands, okay. So in Iran, camel was prevalent. So camel had so on camel the king rode all the way to the king's palace, and then everybody became happy because whatever allegation they had made, that proved to be true, because he was carrying an iron chest. Now the king was angry. He thundered, "Why do you always carry that iron chest with you? What does it contain?" The governor smiled. He asked his servant to bring in the chest. How eagerly the people standing around waited for the shepherds to be found out. But how great was their astonishment. See, they became astonished, they became surprised, okay, because in that chest, in that small box, he had kept something else. When the chest was opened, no gold, no silver, no jewel, but an old blanket was all that came out. Holding it up, now see, inside that chest, people thought that there will be gold, jewelry, silver coins, etc. But that did not come out, okay? It was a very old blanket. Now, whose was that and why did he keep it? Let's find out. Hold it up. Proudly, the shepherd said, "This, my dear master, is my only treasure. I always carry it with me. But why do you carry such an ordinary blanket with you? Surely you are the governor of a district." The king asked, to which the shepherd replied with quiet dignity, "This blanket is my oldest friend. It will still protect me if at any time your majesty would wish to take away my new cloaks." How pleased the king was, and how embarrassed the jealous governors became to hear the wise man's reply. Now they knew that the shepherd was indeed the humblest and the wisest man in the land. The king made him the governor of a much bigger district that very day. So here, what do we see? The shepherd who was without any greed, who helped people selflessly, okay, was proved to be wise and humblest on that very day as well, because he said that that is the only blanket which is his possession. Even after being the governor of this district, he did not claim to be the governor of that particular district. He said that I have only blanket which is my friend and nothing else. It means that he was working for the countrymen selflessly, okay? So the king became very happy to hear this, and he gave him a much bigger district. And his other governors were also ashamed and embarrassed for putting question on his character, okay? So this story tells us that whatever positions we have, we should think that it is of someone else, okay? And new things might remain only for few days, but the oldest thing will remain forever with you, because they have close bonding with us, okay? So whatever new things that we receive, we should not be totally depending upon that, okay? Because we have old things which we need to value as well, all right? And just like king, we should not give ears to everybody. They might say wrong, they might say right, okay? So it is us who has to decide what is right and what is wrong, okay? Even king should not have been swayed away by the words of these governors, which he did. So here lies the problem of the king, okay? And the governors, they should not have been jealous of fellow governor. It is because they should have learned how to be humble, how to be sincere from this shepherd governor, and then they should have governed their country in a better way, which they never tried to do. Therefore, this story becomes very important, which teaches us not to be greedy, not to give our ears to others very easily, not to act very quickly, okay? Not to be jealous of others' success. Rather, we should try to be successful along with them, okay? We should learn how they are being successful and then try to copy them, try to understand their ways of doing work, and then we can also be successful, okay? In this way, we can better our lifestyle. So by this, we will end this story. I hope it is clear to everyone. Till then we meet. Take care and bye-bye, children.